here all the time. I need to really truly know you. I need to understand who you are and how I can support and help you. But it's really unique to watch coming from a situation where, in the very beginning, I knew everyone and I still know those people. Some of the early people that used to come years ago, I'll run into them and they'll say, "Oh, you may not know who I am." And I say, "I know exactly who you are. And I know what you're doing today. I watch you on social. I watch these people because they showed up in the very beginning of something I was creating. They mean the world to me, and I don't think they understand it."
Oh, yeah.
At that time, I knew all of them, and I followed them all on social media. So I'm still aware, as much as I can be, of everything that they're doing. But the organization is massive, and we have corporate groups that come and bring their employees. So sometimes it'll be like 15 people from a team at a local company came to one of our events, and so there'll be people that come once with their team, and there's people that found one event and they wanted to visit, and then there's those people that join and they continue to regularly be a part of it.
Right. So you have definitely built your dream here. Now I kind of want to move to the second half of living your sparkle. And for those of you who don't know what my definition of sparkle is what we have inside that lights us up. It's my belief that all souls sparkle. It's just that we get covered up with, kind of like what Krystal was saying, limiting beliefs, stories, expectations, times we were told, "Oh, girls don't do that. Oh, no, you can't do that. Our family doesn't do that. Our religion doesn't do that. Our culture doesn't do that." And we wear all of these layers of identity that cover our own unique sparkle. And our journey, my passion in my work with Flaunt and helping women reveal themselves, is to shed those layers so we can get back to our kind of sparkle. And so we can let our light shine for everybody. And most importantly, so we can be in a state of happiness and joy all the time. So we can be massively in love with ourselves and our lives and every part of our lives. So what do you think, Krystal, is your sparkle? And how has this journey in finding and developing and learning through the Women of Denver helped you live your sparkle?
Gosh, I love how you call it sparkle. I really think my sparkle has been my quietness and introversion, because it allows me to really be a listener and be attentive to other people and what their needs are. And I think that aspect of myself has helped me to be a better person for others. I've always been a person that people can talk to, and I just love being that for others and being able to be that support person for the people around me.
That's beautiful. Just beautiful. And as you were saying that, I got this just intuitive image hit or whatever around you and your name and the energetic resonance around that. And this might sound very woo-woo, but I'm saying it anyway. The crystal, the crystal that you would buy and sit on the shelf is something that sits there and it's quiet in its power. And it's that serenity and that beauty and that energetic grounding that brings you in. And as you were saying that, I kept thinking, that is your sparkle. You are that energetic ground in this chaotic world for a lot of women who were spinning and lost. And I mean, lost, they could be lost in any sense, but lost in the noise of career and networking, and you got to do this, and you're bringing them a place that's real, and you're anchoring into that connection. And that is something that's been missing in our world. And I think that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Thanks. Yeah, the way you just talked about it, it was one of those things I for a little while ran away from, but I did always attract people who were in some sort of transition and looking for something. And that was just kind of that was always my place. And people would say things like, Krystal, you're steady. Because I would ask, why are you attracted to me? Why do you want to be around me? And they would say, you're steady. I'm that person that helps them to feel grounded. And so that's the energy that I bring to the table for other people. I don't know if that's why people come to Women of Denver, but I think that for certain, I think it's one of the ways that I connect with the world around me is being that steadiness and a grounding kind of energy for people.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. And you had mentioned earlier about introversion and extroversion and that notion, and I call it a limiting belief, that one has to be an extrovert, one has to be charismatic in order to be seen and to be noticed and to be successful. And maybe on the surface that works for some. And if that is somebody's authentic sparkle, because I'm definitely an extrovert, it's authentic and then it does bring people in. But look at you. Look at many other more introverted people, more quiet people. It's our authentic self that brings people in. And what a limiting belief that we have to be something that we're not in order to succeed. Because, oh boy, you've succeeded.
Yeah. You might be an extrovert, but you also have a sense of charisma. And I think it's the charisma that really helps people to connect with us. So an extrovert might just talk, someone to death. And, extroverts think out loud and all of that, but it's that charisma and that, you have this sense of being, wanting and caring about learning about other people and really digging into who they are, and that connects people to you. So I really think that people who have that and really see that can be the biggest connectors and the greatest impact to the people around them. And there's no one way to be or no one way to live. And it's one of those things that has been the biggest shocker for me, because we come up with so many beliefs of what is and what the rules are. And I'm grateful today to have an understanding that there are no rules. It's just a matter of how do you choose to live this life and how are you going to show up here and what can you do to make an impact in creating that for yourself.
Yeah. I like how you put that, because it's true. There are no rules, and there's a lot we can do that we don't realize we can do. Now, you have, obviously, Women of Denver is a huge part of your life. It's a huge thing. But you've done things beyond that, too. That was just kind of your building your dream, living your sparkle moment. But you have a career. You have done a TED Talk. I'd love to hear more about that.
Yeah, actually, Women of Denver has become most of my career now. Mm-hmm. I do also, I'm a marketer, again, all these behind the scenes things that I do, but I'm a marketer and publicist, and I help and support people in those ways with creating these strategic plans to get them out there, to get their brands or companies out there. I work mainly with company brands and helping to, enhance how they're seen, building the story around them. And I worked with some really unique companies, and being in this situation, so I'm a diverse type person. So I do internal communications and then the marketing and then publicity, because I'm just a student of communications. So I've gotten the chance to do a lot of really interesting things, like writing for the CEOs and disseminating company information, which you get to learn a lot about how businesses run and how CEOs think. Which
Yeah.
has been fun. Yeah. especially in company transitions. So seeing how, and I've done a lot of company transitions of what goes on. So people are being, I mean, the worst things are happening on the employee side. People are being laid off, things are changing. And I'm the one that tries to create some empathy in the communication that's going out and making sure that people hear it in the way that's going to connect the best for them. Because I really believe in helping people, helping people that work for these companies to have at least as good as an opportunity as they can to feel good about what they do, feel good about their relationship there. Because I've been there. I've been in that seat where things are changing and you're scared and you just want to know what is going to happen to me, what is going to happen to my life. Yeah. And it feels like the worst thing in the world at the time. So those are actually my favorite projects, is working on those internal communications of big company transitions of when things are going really transitioning for a company. And then publicity is always fun, and kind of getting a brand story out there and helping to communicate to people, what is this brand about that's bigger than just being another company that's trying to sell to you. And that's really hard for a lot of people, because we always think, again, very few people think in terms of empathy. So how are those, some people call it the with them, what's in it for me? Thinking in terms of what's in it for the other, for the person who's buying or listening. But I really think of it as just having empathy for the person you're talking to. Who are you talking to? What do they care about? What matters? Who are they? Having a profile in your head of who am I talking to, and talking to a real human being versus just, creating salesy language that's not going to matter. People don't connect to that. There's so many brands and products. It's not like the old days where there's one grocery store down the street owned by, Mr. Mike, and okay, well, I'm going to go to Mike's and this is where I'm going to go to get this because it's the only place to go. It's like there's 12 Mr. Mike's grocery stores, and you have to choose which one resonates with you as the place you're going to spend your money, because they all cost around the same. So that's kind of my other life.
Okay. And I like that you bring in that empathy piece. I don't think a lot of people maybe think about that empathy piece in branding, in sales, in life. But oh boy, that's that human connector. That's that grounding. That's what we are all about. That matters. That's powerful.
It's amazing when you really think in terms of empathy. And I think it's what makes some of the more successful people and successful businesses as great as they are, because they understand humanity and understand, how to be of service to the people around you. And I guess I have a perspective of servant leadership a little bit, but I use those terms, meaning just understanding the humans. Even some of the bigger brands like Apple and companies like that, they understood, they took the time to understand the people that they were talking to, the people that wanted to buy from them, and they talked directly to them. They spoke directly to what matters, and they created products and they created themes and they created discussions that wrapped around that. That's how people create this system of raving fans around an idea, something that was just an idea, and people become deeply connected to it.
Sort of like the Women of Denver journey. It was a need, and you were speaking to women who had the need to dialogue, to deeply connect, to get to know people beyond the surface level. And going back to your story about the survey that you had put out, and people said Sunday's the worst day, but they showed up anyway, probably because of that empathy piece, because there was a pain, there was a need, and you could help them assuage that pain and feel that need. And even though